Hi, I'm Mac McCarthy, and I help people with their breakups. And today I have another breakup story to share. And if you have a breakup story you want to share, please visit writemac.com, WRITEMAC. Send your story in, and I could give you my take in a public YouTube video just like this. If you'd like to book a live coaching session on FaceTime or Skype, get to the bottom of things, start moving forward, get some clarity, get some perspective, I highly recommend it to unpack your situation, your breakup story in an hour or 2 hours. It really, really helps. So if you like this video, throw me a like. If you don't like it, don't like it. I don't care. If you want to put a comment to help this individual down below, please do. Let's get into it. Dear Mac, we were together for 3 months and we have been broken up for about a month now. We did not live together. Okay, so thanks for that information. You read the directions on my website and gave me the best information up front. How long are you together? When did you break up? So her name is, he said he changed the name. I don't share names. We met online and it was very casual by both parties at the start. This is the best way to start a relationship, is to be casual, low expectations, have a good time, connect. Don't bring up getting to be boyfriend and girlfriend the first 2 dates. That scares people away that are highly secure and confident. We were seeing each other once a week, and I can say with confidence that it was going very well. She clearly stated it and showed signs of it. Outstanding. She asked me a few weeks into dating if I was talking to other women, which I took as a sign she wanted to be exclusive. Well, that could be, or she could just be asking the question. So the first time I screwed up was rushing to a relationship with her 1 month in, roughly. I don't think that's a big screw up. I mean, you certainly, Corey Wayne or some of these other people, absolutely you want the woman to ask about the relationship and it to be her interest, and you want the woman to chase more often. But it's not outlandish or crazy to say 1 month out to start talking about a relationship if you're highly interested and you have a great connection. So don't beat yourself up too much for that. If it was the first date, yeah, but 1 month out, don't beat yourself up on that one. It was way too fast, and she felt the same way. Well, in the moment, if it felt too fast, then you recalibrate the ship and you don't make a big deal out of it, right? That's okay. I think it was going well at the start because I had my own life. That's a big part of being attractive, is having your own life. People say your purpose, your goals, whatever it is. Be an individual outside of your relationship. Was a research assistant for my college. Cool, man. But when it ended, I did not get a job because I was in the last summer vacation of school. Well, this will shift things as far as your relationship. Your outside life and where you're at with things and your job and where you're spending your time does affect your relationships. And you being aware of that right now will only serve you in the future, bud. I haven't had summer vacation since I was in 8th grade due to always working. Well, me too when I was younger. I had a paper out from 6th to 8th grade. And then I think 15 to 16 years old, I always worked on the weekends when I had a job. And you know what? It was damn good for me because I appreciate my time off, and I had a lot of service jobs, and I am extremely kind to people in service jobs, retail, things like that. It builds character, so don't feel bad about that. I haven't had summer vacation since I was 8th grade. Also, I hit my rock bottom due to some legal issues I began to notice for the last month before the breakup. Well, again, things outside the relationship, we start to layer all that shit and put it in one bag. And you think, oh, well, she's acting up, we're not getting along. But really, you need to separate your issues and go, all right, my legal issues, I have to do this. School and job, I have to do this. It's all separated. When you start grouping it together, that's when it affects your relationship. I was very upset. When we would hang out, I would be fairly negative, treating her like a therapist. Well, now you know, and that's half the battle, as G.I. Joe said. And writing out your story right now is making you more clear on that. You're going to learn from this. This is when I began to notice some distance, and 1 week before the relationship ending, I had a feeling it was coming. The day of the breakup, we met up. She told me that she wasn't feeling the same for me anymore, that she did have a great time with me and thinks I am great, but she isn't looking for anything serious at the moment. Well, in that moment, which moments can change, they're not in cement, she's telling you exactly how she felt, and the best thing you can do is accept it. Head high, don't beg and plead, move forward and go, all right, That's how you feel. I understand. She told me that she could still be there for me and we could be friends. If you don't want to be friends, don't be friends. You don't have to make a big deal out of it, but you don't want to make some covert contract where you're like, yeah, if we're friends, maybe I can get her to change her mind. No, that's negative intentions. If it works against you, it's below ground zero for you. I naively agreed, but told her that I would need to take some time away to heal. Told her in a month or a month and a half, I would reach out. Okay. Knowing that now, you have a choice if you still want to reach out. I do not want to be your friend. You say that clearly. Now that some time has passed, well, then don't be friends, right? You're not doing anyone a favor by lying about friendship. You wouldn't do that to someone that was just an average friend, right? I did not try to change her mind during the breakup or beg. Outstanding. But at the very end, I showed a sign of weakness by asking her hypothetically that in the future we could give it another shot. She said yes. Well, that's not horribly bad. It's much better that you asked that than begging. And it seems like you did pretty good. Listen, when you break up and you're hurting, there's no perfect recipe or remedy. You can't escape your feelings and be fake in the moment. But you asking that hypothetically, I think that's a fair question because you guys had a bit of a shallow meaning how long it was around, right? It was 3 months. And so there wasn't a lot of dirt on the relationship. There wasn't a lot of layers of crap. And so whatever was in that moment of her feeling like it wasn't really that great, she could shed that snake skin from the relationship and have feelings for you again. And that's what she was saying. Then we just hugged for a while, and I have not contacted her since that day. Before the breakup, we never had arguments or anything bad during the breakup. It ended on good terms, too. Well, this sounds good. This is a reflection of who you are as a person also. Also, I understand that it was short, but it was very intense. At the start, she was always eager to meet me and always stayed up late night with me, albeit she had work early in the morning. I was wondering if I should stay in no contact with her. I've already begun doing some personal development and finding a new hobby such as archery, gym, reading books, and hiking once a week. Well, that sounds fucking interesting. I love the archery in there. Little Joe Rogan. Stick to doing those kinds of things, and you're in a really good place right here. And if you did want to reach out to her in this particular situation, just be in a mode where you're like, you're not going into it explaining yourself, talking about the past relationship. You got to get to the point, ask her out, and start a new relationship. Don't bring up anything from the past. And if she says no, you're in such a good place, you're okay with it. It's just clarity. It's not rejection. Would reaching out be a terrible idea? I just said the alternative. I don't think so at this point because of the way it ended. I don't know how long you've been apart. But on the flip side, staying in no contact with the progress you've been making, that's okay too, right? But I wouldn't say it's a terrible idea based on what you've told me. I still can't do it yet because I have not detached myself from my feeling completely from her. Well, there's your answer. Until you've detached yourself and you can make a call neutrally, I would stay away from it because it will bring you down to ground zero again and, put you in a position where you feel bad again. But can say I am much better than a week 1. We'll stick with no contact and see where you're at in week 2, week 3, week 4. If I were to reach out, let's say I feel good at 2 months, would that be a good time to try? I'm not going to say 2 months, 6 weeks. I'm going to say it depends on how you feel and where you're at in life. So I would recalibrate that in the time, in the moment, and I wouldn't put a day or a number on it specifically. Or still too early. Again, that's a feeling thing rather than a day thing, rather than a specific number in my book. I personally would like her to reach out, and I really do not want to, but if it would help my situation, I would try. If that's the case, best case scenario, most ideal situation, you stay in no contact. She misses you because you had mostly a good relationship, and then when she contacts you, you're in the driver's seat, and it's a bonus because when she contacts you this time, you're doing archery, you're reading books, you're doing all these other things outside of it, and so you're not so hung up on it. So if that's ideal situation, and I ask people in live coaching session, I go, hey, look, what would be the ideal situation here? Well, if she came back to me, well, then no contact would be the best way to probably do that. Actually, it is in your case. I would like another shot with her because I feel like it could have gone better. I just got weak and upset with my life during the last month before the breakup. It fucking happens to people, especially people in their young 20s. This is a learning curve for you, and it's a good time that you're learning a lot of these things, so you won't make the same mistakes twice. So don't get down on yourself. I've fixed the legal stuff, and I'm back to focusing on my life. Outstanding. School and future career. Well, you got things lined up, bud. Get specific on your career. Get specific on some new goals rather than, oh, I'm just, I'm hoping to get a job that I make $200,000 a year. What's the job? What's the field? Get really specific on that. Do you think I can get her back? If so, what should be doing besides no contact and personal development? I think that's the best way for her to come back on her terms and be all in. If you asked her out in a month or two and you're in a really good place, you could do that. So I would say my answer would be to stay in no contact and eventually shed the idea of that you're in no contact to get her back, and that's when you're in a really good place. And I would also add to it, you're in your early 20s, go on other dates. Put yourself out there, spin some plates. Read the book The Rational Male by Rollo Tomasi, The Tactical Guide to Women by Sean Smith. I always forget his name. Sean Smith, I believe it is a real simple name. Models by Mark Manson. Develop a little bit of knowledge, not for this woman, but the possibility of meeting someone else. And if she comes back, it's a bonus. This woman was highly attracted to you, had a good relationship for 3 months. That wasn't an accident. Other women are going to find you attractive that are equal to higher value. You got me? He wrote as a follow-up email that I'll share with you. I also wanted to share something that, and he would say it would be an honor to have this as a public video because I'd asked him if it was okay. I also want to share something that could maybe be helpful out to your viewers. I'm a 23-year-old alcoholic. All right, my father's been an alcoholic for most of my childhood. I've had other relatives, so I'm highly familiar with it. There's been times in my life where I like to drink a little too much, but I caught it right away and didn't let it elevate into a bad situation. Was evaluated this summer. When I think of not drinking for the rest of my life, that is hard thought to accept. Well, bottom line, if you're at 23 years old and you're identifying yourself as an alcoholic, that's a start. You're saying, I got a problem, I want to work on it. That's the very first step of anyone getting through that, okay? And identifying that you're not a good person when you're drinking too much. Now, instead of you saying, I'm not going to drink for the rest of my life, this is like when people say, I'll never see my ex again. Stop using that verbiage or those words and just go, I'm going to take it day by day, and I'm going to go without a drink for 30 days. And a lot of times, most people I talk to, they say after 2 weeks, 3 weeks, that it gets easier and they start to really enjoy it. And so break it up into chunks. Don't just take it day by day, but don't tell yourself I'm never going to drink for the rest of life. If that terrifies you or upsets you, change it to I'm going to go 30 days. And if I feel good in 30 days, I'll go another 30 days. A friend of mine went, I think it was 30 days, and then he ended up turning it into 6 months. And then he said after that, when he drank, he was much more casual about drinking. He didn't need it so much. And you proved to yourself that you can go without it. But we learn to tackle this thing with one day at a time, such as I will stay sober today, and breaking it down to daily tasks make a process a whole lot easier. So that's what I just said. I've been sober for months now, so I was thinking of this in terms of no contact, thinking that I won't contact her at all hurts. But then I just think of it as a day-to-day time is easier. Sounds good. That sounds right. You'll get a little bit better, and that's what it counts. I will not contact her today. Also, in all the AA meetings, we say that serenity prayer in the beginning. I know that prayer. I know that well. My father, I've been to those meetings, not as an alcoholic, but for family members. God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. That applies to a lot of things in life, and I certainly think that could apply to no contact and a breakup. So thanks for sharing that. I've never put that together, but I agree with you. Which means to me that we are powerless to a lot of things, and we can really only change ourselves. I agree 100% with that statement. Thanks for sharing that, by the way. We can't change the way our exes feel, but we do have the power over our lives. Outstanding. I agree 100%, and thanks for closing with that. If anyone agrees with that, please put it in the comments below. And the fact that you're coinciding getting through alcoholism and dealing with that with a breakup, I think is outstanding. And this is going to be a transition in your life. And probably I'd add to it, this breakup probably had to happen for you to realize that you want to be a better person. Correct me if I'm wrong. So I hope this helps you. And if anyone else out there has a breakup that they want to share, please visit rightmac.com. Otherwise, thank you for supporting the channel.